Hello, hope you're doing well and welcome to my Smite 2 Medusa guide. Medusa, the Gorgon Queen, has slithered into Smite 2 with her venomous toolkit and a stone cold gaze. And today I'll be teaching you absolutely everything you need to know about this petrifyingly good god. Medusa excels at delivering burst damage, locking down enemies, and applying immense lane pressure, making her an exceptional choice for players who love high impact, high damage gameplay. Whether you prefer the ADC role, mid lane, or even experimenting with unique builds, Medusa offers a variety of playstyles to suit your needs. Don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss my future Smite 2 guides, as I'll be covering all of the gods in Smite 2, and also make sure to check out my Discord server if you have any questions or want to join a friendly, toxic-free Smite community. Now let's dive into Medusa's ability. Medusa's passive, Sidewinder, allows her to strafe without suffering movement penalties and reduces her backpedal penalty significantly, in half. This makes her highly mobile in fights, giving her the ability to kite enemies or reposition more effectively during engagement. Use this passive to maintain constant pressure on your targets while dodging incoming attacks. Medusa's first ability, Viper Shot, increases Medusa's attack speed for her next 4 basic attacks, augmenting them to shoot venomous vipers that deal ticking poison damage over time. Each successful hit of an enemy god will reduce the cooldown of this ability, making it invaluable for both sustaining fights and burst damage scenarios. Activate Viper Shot before engagements to maximize your DPS in trades for all-in. Medusa's second ability is Acid Spray. Medusa fires a projectile at a target, dealing damage to the first enemy hit and spraying acid in a cone behind them. Enemies hit by the acid cone receive reduced healing for a short duration. This ability is excellent for poke, wave clear, and applying anti-heal during fights. Lacerate is Medusa's third ability, and it will send Medusa dashing forward, damaging all enemies in her path, and stopping and rooting the first enemy god hit. It will also destroy any statue she collides with immediately, granting her a temporary strength and intelligence buff and permanent lesser buff. Lacerate is great for chasing down targets, escaping dangerous situations, or resisting fights by destroying statues for critical buffs. Medusa's ultimate is by far her most iconic ability. Petrify is a devastating area of effect ability that can either stun or slow enemies depending on whether they are facing her or not. If enemies look at Medusa when this ability goes off, they will be stunned. If they look away, they will take reduced damage and will be slowed instead. Enemies killed by Petrify or shortly after being affected by it are turned into statues. These statues remain indefinitely or until destroyed, blocking enemy movement and enhancing Medusa's abilities, particularly Acid Spray. Destroying statues grants Medusa a powerful strength and intelligence buff for a short duration, making it imperative to create and utilize statues effectively. Moving on, Medusa's combos are flexible and can adapt based on situations. You can omit or add abilities depending on your positioning, safety, and cooldown. That said, here are 2 high-impact all-in combos designed to one-shot your target. The first combo involves engaging with ultimate. Activate Viper Shot for enhanced basic attacks, and use Petrify to stun your target, making follow-up attacks easy to land. Follow up with your 4 venomous basic attacks, and then use Acid Spray to deal burst damage and potentially hit the enemy and their allies. If needed, finish off with Lacerate to close the gap or secure the kill. The second combo will save ultimate for the finish. Activate Viper Shot for enhanced basic attacks and start with Lacerate to engage and root the target only if it is safe to do so. Use Acid Spray for burst damage and to apply anti-heal. Follow up with your 4 venomous basic attacks and finish the combo with Petrify, ensuring you create a statue that you can use to enhance your damage. And that's it for the combo section. Remember that you can always omit or add specific abilities depending on your situation or the flow of the teamfight. If you want to see Medusa in action, I've released a gameplay a couple days ago, which you can go ahead and check out after you finish this video. Now you know what Medusa does and how to use her abilities effectively. Let's talk about where you will be playing Medusa. Medusa is a highly versatile god with strengths in specific roles, but her effectiveness varies depending on where she is played. Here's a breakdown of how she performs in each role. Medusa is an excellent ADC thanks to her strong auto attack damage, reliable clear, and utility packed kit. Her abilities like Viper Shot and Acid Spray provide strong lane pressure and burst potential, allowing her to trade effectively with enemies and maintain dominance in dual lane. Additionally, her ultimate Petrify provides an incredible tool for securing kills or escaping ganks, making her a standout choice for ADC. Medusa is also a strong choice for the mid lane. Her ability-based kit translates well into this role, offering burst damage, anti-heal, and crowd control. Her intelligence scaling allows her to itemize for an ability-based playstyle, making her a formidable burst mage. Her ability to clear waves efficiently and pressure enemies in the mid lane makes her a solid pick for players who prefer a more caster-oriented playstyle. Medusa can function somewhat effectively as a jungler, but she does face challenges compared to more traditional jungle picks. Her clear speed is decent, especially with the use of Acid Spray and Viper Shot, but her lack of innate mobility outside of Lacerate means she must play carefully. Additionally, her ultimate Petrify can be used effectively for ganks, but its cooldown and reliance on proper positioning make her less consistent in this role. And Medusa's not really efficient in the solo lane. While she has a strong poke and anti-heal with Acid Spray, she struggles to match the tankiness and sustain of traditional solo laners. Particularly in late game teamfights, her lack of durability and reliance on burst damage, alongside her lacking frontline presence, make her less suited to this role, especially in prolonged engagements. Medusa is also not efficient as a support. While her ultimate provides strong crowd control, her overall kit lacks the tools necessary to peel effectively for her teammates or sustain them in fights, and her kit is also much too focused on damage and self-reliance, which doesn't align with the typical responsibilities of a support. In summary, Medusa excels as an ADC or mid laner, where she can fully utilize her damage and utility. While she can function in the jungle with some success, her lack of innate mobility and the need for precise positioning make her less consistent in this role. But with that out of the way, let's talk about the builds. I can't give you an exact build for Medusa as items in Smite 2 often go through changes, but I can tell you which stats to focus on and suggest some core items based on your chosen role and playstyle. As an ADC, Medusa should prioritize lifesteal, strength, and attack speed for sustained damage and survivability. For lifesteal, Devil Gloves, Bloodforge, and the Reaper are excellent starting options to boost sustain. Both strength and attack speed are core to any ADC, and items like Dagger of Frenzy, Braggy's Harp, and Hasten Fatalis will increase damage output and mobility during fights. And finally, finish off the build with Penetration or Critical Strike chance. Focus on either Penetration with the Executioner and Kin's Blade being awesome options, or go for Critical Strike chance with Demon Blade and Deathbringer. Avoid mixing Penetration and Critical Strike chance as it often leads to suboptimal damage output. You'll want to focus on one and stick with it. Medusa also functions well with an ability-based style build. For an ability-focused playstyle, prioritize strength, cooldown reduction, and penetration. Strength items like Transcendence, the Crusher, and Serrated Edge provide high power. And for cooldown reduction, Tekokage, the Crusher, and Jotun's Wrath are great for keeping abilities on a short cooldown and allowing you to use them constantly during fights. And you'll want to consider some penetration so that you may cut through the enemy's high protections. Consider Heartseeker, Oathsworn Spear, and Titan's Bane to shred enemy defense. Now there is a third build option, which is an intelligence focused build. Medusa can also opt for, like I mentioned, an intelligence based build to maximize ability damage. For intelligence, Book of Thoth, Doom Orb, and Rod of Tahuti are excellent options. You'll still want cooldown reduction with Gem of Focus, Chronos Pendant, and Staff of Mirrodin, allowing you to use your abilities frequently. And just like in the strength-based build, penetration is a must. An Obsidian Shard of Rod of Tahuti and Totem of Death will cut through protections effectively. I'm gonna keep that in. Note that while these builds may seem similar, strength will keep high burst damage, but focus more on auto attacks, while an intelligence focused build will give you the highest amount of ability power, but sacrifice heavily on these auto attacks. Medusa can also thrive with a hybrid build that combines strength and intelligence, offering a versatility in her playstyle. This approach balances ability damage and stronger auto attacks compared to a pure intelligence or pure strength build. Ultimately, Medusa's build should adapt to the match and your role on the team. Whether you're focusing on auto attacks, ability damage, or a mix of both, prioritize the stats and items that amplify your chosen playstyle. The sky's the limit with Medusa's flexibility, so experiment and find what works best for you. Now you've reached the end of the video, but I wanted to leave you with some additional tips and tricks to assist you the next time you decide to pick up Medusa. First, use Sidewinder to your advantage. Medusa's passive allows you to maintain mobility during fights. Use this to kite enemies and reposition effectively. Secondly, create and destroy statues strategically. Statues created by Petrify can block enemy movement and activate Acid Spray's cone. And also destroying statues grants powerful temporary and permanent buffs, so take advantage of this mechanic. The differentiating factor between a good and a great Medusa is how she makes use of these statues. Combo abilities with basic attacks. Always weave basic attacks between and after abilities to maximize your damage output. Petrify strategically. Save your ultimate for key moments where you can hit multiple enemies or secure kills. You should also play around healing reduction. Acid Spray reduces healing taken by enemies, making it an excellent tool against sustained heavy compositions. And finally, don't waste your dash. Lacerate is your only escape tool, so use it carefully for engagements and only use it offensively if it is safe to do so. That's it for my Medusa guide. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more Smite 2 content. Don't forget to join my Discord for tips, questions, or just hanging out with other Smite 2 players. And finally, follow me on Twitch to watch live gameplay and ask questions directly. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.